It rewards terror. On Friday, France will join an emergency call with Germany and the UK as Western powers urge a ceasefire in the Middle East. Let's bring in Jeremy Konyndyk, president of Refugees International. He's joining us for the very latest on this story. Jeremy, very good to see you. I see that you have been writing about famine and hunger in Gaza. And I just want to ask you, someone who has battled famine and hunger crises, how do you describe what we are witnessing in Gaza?
I am very concerned that Gaza is now turning a corner into large-scale population-level starvation and mortality. Up until really just the past week, we had seen some starvation deaths, but not in large clusters. And what is now emerging over the past week are large clusters of deaths from outright starvation, and a lot of other indicators that the situation is turning a corner into famine. All of the nutrition centers in Gaza are now oversubscribed. Health clinics are universally reporting that large shares of people coming in for routine health treatment or for injury, to have injuries addressed, are deeply malnourished when they arrive. So we're kind of seeing a lot of things that are all pointing in a very, very frightening direction right now.
You have written about something you called famine momentum. What is that? What does that mean?
Well, the longer that a famine goes on, the longer that a food security situation deteriorates, a food crisis deteriorates, the harder it gets to reverse and the more burdensome and expensive and time-consuming it gets to reverse. So if you provide food to people before they are in an advanced state of malnutrition, it's much easier to turn the situation around. If it gets to a point where someone needs severe malnutrition treatment, then it gets much harder to turn around. And by the time people are starting to show up dying of starvation in health clinics, things are very, very advanced, and the famine is gaining a lot of momentum. More people will need more treatment that will be more burdensome and more time consuming. And so that does seem to be the situation that we're seeing evidence of in Gaza now.
Would the immediate unimpeded flow of aid reverse this trend at this point?
It would begin the process of reversing it. The notion that a famine has momentum, what that means is it will take time. So you can't just toggle an on-off switch on a massive aid operation. The bulk of the legitimate and professional humanitarian operation in Gaza has been shut down since the middle of March. And even the staff working for the aid agencies are now themselves starving. So it will even if there were full unimpeded access and ceasefire agreed tomorrow, it would still take quite some time to turn this situation around. That is how much it has deteriorated.
In your work, Jeremy, have you seen a situation like this before?
Well, in a way, we've seen many situations like this before, and we recognize the pattern of famine. We have seen situations like this in Somalia in 2011, in Sudan. In present day, there is a famine in Sudan. I think what is unusual is to see a famine that is so solely and completely man-made. And the Somalia famine in 2011, which I worked on quite extensively, that was partly due to conflict, but it was also partly due to climate factors. There had been several failed rainy seasons, and crops had failed, and food had become dramatically more expensive. Here, there's no crop failure, there's no rain failure. This is really just a situation of violence and an obstructive blockade of aid that could otherwise address this situation.
If a massive aid and medical effort does not come immediately, soon, in the coming days, weeks, what will we see happen?
The longer it takes to mount a large-scale multi-sector aid operation, the more and more people will die, and those numbers I would expect will begin to go up exponentially, because that's what we know from other famines. What we're seeing now is the leading edge of what could be quite a large wave of mortality.
Oh, okay, Jeremy, we'll have to leave it there for today, but thank you so much for sharing your expertise, your perspective with us tonight.
Thank you.